Board to order at 7 o'clock. Ms. Covray, can we get attendance, please?
Aaron Rushba. Here. Andrea Jordan.
Here.
Shaquille Ali is absent. Eileen Policarpio.
Here.
Anthony Sujisaka.
Here. Thank you very much. All right, and we move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, where Fernando Rivera Intermediate School will be leading us in the pledge. So if the students and the principal may come up to the podium, and we'll let you all start. I think they did switch it.
You're next to the microphone.
Whenever you're ready.
3, 2, 1.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Fernando Rivera Intermediate School. All right, we move to item 4, approval of the agenda. The administration recommends approval of the agenda. If there are any comments or amendments, otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, now we go to item 5A, special presentations, Fernando Rivera School Goals and Action Highlights. Ms. Melissa Mizell, principal, and representatives from Fernando Rivera School will present the highlights of goals and actions for the 2025-2026 school year.
Okay, before my 10 minutes, I just want to say I told them that it was going to be like 5 people in the audience, so, but you guys are ready, right? Yeah, okay. I'm
do
going to
great.
stick to a script, which I don't usually love to do, but I just want to stay on task today. So I have my little thingy here. So we're talking about equity today. I'm really excited to be here. So hello, board members, district official, and everybody here tonight. I'm the principal at Fernando Rivera, and I'm going to be discussing parts of our school that are equity focused. So when I really think about it and I deep dive into our school, I can see so many aspects that really help students get the resources they need to be successful. So I want to start by aligning around definitions. So equity is about noticing what students need and acknowledging there's so many obstacles. And so it's our job to help them get what they need when they need it so they can unlock all the potential that they have. And so those 3 aspects up there, academics, student engagement, and belonging, as well as voice, are the ways we activate equity, and those are the levers that I'm going to pull tonight to show you how this is happening. And so that's our LCAP data, so our local control accountability plan. We have some lofty goals. We want to get to 60%, so you see in the orange over there, that's where we're trying to get this year. And if we look at the Fernando data, that first column there is showing that we're really close to getting there, that we're about 4% away from getting to our goal. And that's in ELA, so English Language Arts, and in math. We have a little bit more ways to go in science as well, but all indicators are pointing toward the positive for us. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. I also, just to start this conversation around equity, it's, we're looking at LCAP data, we're looking at CASP data, and then we're looking at the Panorama survey results. So these are the results that the students took in the fall. And this is the feedback that we use to gather data on a variety of topics, including school climate, student voice, family engagement, to help us improve educational experiences and student outcomes. This data serves as a starting point for some of our work this year to build engagement and belonging. And as you can see, we have some room to grow in belonging, as well as school climate. And that's why I brought my friends over here today. They're gonna talk about some of those aspects. And so equity in academics, I shared this slide with my partner before I came here, and she said it's way too wordy. So if I can just have you focus on where it says UDL strategies. So there's 3 aspects that I really want to highlight from this slide because there's so much equity happening around our school. And so we have new math curriculum this year that's focused on building equity in the classrooms. that's really honing in on UDL strategies. So UDL is a research-based framework. It stands for Universally Designed Learning. And it's a research-based framework for creating flexible learning environments that support all learners by proactively removing barriers. So you're going to see this by having lots of different means of engagement like choice boards. You're going to see more student voice in the classroom. You're going to see more collaboration and much more varied representation in what they're learning. So making it more meaningful, engaging for students. I also want to highlight support for diverse learners. So we have a couple of students that graduated from Fernando a few years ago that are coming back every Tuesday and Thursday, and they're doing one-on-one tutoring for our kiddos. They call this group Sending Saunders, and there's 12 of them that come from Summit Shasta. They get students, from Fernando that teachers refer, and they get that one-on-one support that's needed. So that's another aspect that, where students are getting that equity focus. And then we have academic support classes where teachers have smaller groups. Kids come into those classes and get very targeted intervention around English language arts and math. So equity in academics is happening at Fernando in a lot of different ways. And then I want to go to the next slide. This is what a classroom looks like. So when I first came to Fernando, I was amazed by the community, but the more time that I'm spending there and seeing the teachers being open to having, let's say, student voice in their classrooms, students are taking ownership over spaces and, really wanting to have a certain aesthetic and way that people are acting in their classes. I'm also seeing more teachers pulling students for smaller groups. And this is a huge growth in our school because, again, they're looking at data to target instruction to help support students that need it a little bit more. All right, and then if I go to the next slide, that's where my students are going to come in and, talk a little bit about where engagement and belonging is happening at our school. You can read all that stuff, but it's really more important to listen to the students. And so I want to bring up Malia, who's going to talk a little bit about enrichments. And I'm not bringing these kiddos up here to have like a little dog and pony show and talk about our programs. It's really about them bringing a sense of equity to our school and how it's not just the adults that are trying to, look for how we can remove these barriers, but it's really about the students that are actually doing this as well, which I think is really cool. So come on up, Malia.
Hello, I am Malia Chow. And I'm Ashley Anchetta. We're both leaders for our hip hop enrichment at Fernando Rivera. Here at FRS, there are many varieties of enrichments, but we noticed that there weren't many performing art programs. So we invited a dance teacher that has come from Westlake School for the performing arts to teach students about hip hop in simple steps. During enrichment, we try our best to help students experience hip hop culture. Well, how does this bring an impact for our students? Hip hop can bring joy to students and have them socialize with others they don't know. It can also help students collect confidence, bring creativity, and encourage them to step out of their comfort zone. We figured that students who like dancing but don't have experience should have an opportunity to join a class that they'll enjoy. Me and Ashley do our best to get students to participate, help make decisions on what could or can be better for the class, and improve on their learning skills. By the time enrichment switches, we hope that the group of students will learn at least 2 things about dancing and maybe even about using moves in something simple like dancing to music. Thank you. And please welcome Kieran, who's going to talk about Kids Talk.
Hi, my name is Kieran, and I'm part of many amazing opportunities at FRS, like the Kids Talk After School Theater Program, which focuses on acting, dancing, and singing on stage. We want everyone to feel accepted and included in our program, which is why every person who joins will get to be part of the cast to build confidence, practice public speaking, and embrace new opportunities. I joined because even though performing in front of everyone sounds scary, I would gain more experience and I can use that in the future times. Kids Talk and other programs like this remove barriers by allowing anyone and everyone from FRS to participate in stage plays and feel welcome in our community. The program is cost-free and right after school, making it easy to go to and fit in people's schedules. Kids Talk will be a good opportunity for people to make new friends and have a chance to share their talents. It is a helpful program for anyone who is curious about performing arts or wants to explore new possibilities. Thank you, and please welcome James.
Oh, I don't know what I just did, but go ahead, James.
Hi, my name is James, and I'm a sixth grade student at Fernando, and I started the coding club at Fernando Rivera. In my coding club, I teach others how to use others simple programs. If you're wondering how I knew how to use a computer, when I was 3 or 4, I had to teach my grandparents how to use an iPhone, and I always observed my parents while they were using their phones. I always see other students playing video games, and I thought, kids are always playing video games. Why not make your own games from scratch? If we program our own games, it would make it a lot more fun to play because we would know we made it ourselves. The positive side effect is that you learn something new, like a programming language. You have to sit down, research, and focus to be able to program. That helps me at school. Thank you, and welcome, MJ.
Hi. My name is MJ, and I'm one of the commissioners of Sports and Spirit at Fernando. We're in charge of intramurals, and so far we did a flag football one. I myself did play in it, and it was a lot of fun. I asked students who played, and they also had a good time. We started with flag football so we could start to build our community. When I was in 6th grade, there were intramurals, but they were later in the year. Having them sooner will help build a community where everyone knows each other. We thought that it would be a fun way to introduce students who wouldn't usually play because they didn't know anybody. And since it was the beginning of the year, we thought that it would be a good way to introduce each other. We have now just started our next intramural on Monday, which was volleyball. The recent volleyball intramural was actually recommended by students. This makes a big impact on students because the volleyball season had just started last month, so I reached out to some students that were sad because they couldn't make it on the team. So I thought that this would be a good way to sort of ease their pain and let them play volleyball in an intramural. People are having a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see what happens next. Thank you, and next up we have Kate.
Hello, I'm Kate Yee, and I'm here to talk about passion projects. Passion projects are a way for students to get excited about school and have a purpose to come and attend with a positive attitude. I had an idea for a way to bring color to FRS. I feel like if we had more color, it could really bring our community together. By creating this passion project, I'm hoping that people will be inspired and unlock their potential. I want to bring my passions to FRS and get art up around the pillars of the school. Imagine coming to our campus and seeing the pillars that hold up our buildings display the artwork of our community. I have already come to speak with Miss Melissa about this idea, and we are currently in the process of filling out a request and sending it back to maintenance for approval. We'll keep you posted.
And then finally, I just want to bring up Kaylee, who's going to talk about just student announcements. It's the final piece around student voice, and we're done.
Hello, my name is Kaylee Lang. I handle student announcements and morning announcements. Student announcements is a page that is updated with new information that gives opportunities for students to participate more in school. For morning announcements, we use Google Meet to share upcoming school-related news with everyone every day. Many people are shy as I am, but when I became more comfortable at this school, I stepped out of my comfort zone and was able to be more involved and speak up. I want other people like me to think they can do the same. I also aim to ensure all students are informed, have opportunities for involvement, and can express their opinions. These projects are building in more student confidence because many students are always confused and have many questions. But because of the student announcements page and morning announcements, it allows students to stay informed and gives their own access to finding answers as well as inspire students to speak up about their questions and problems, allowing proper communication. Thank you.
All right, so that's our presentation. We just wanted to give you a little snapshot of what Fernando is doing around equity, so I hope you guys have a better idea now. Thank you.
Excellent, great presentation. So now we have, if any board members have any comments or questions for Fernando Rivera, and I will start on my right.
I'll just say that was an outstanding presentation. Thank you, Principal Mizell. Thank you, students. You all spoke incredibly well. I'm so pleased to see all of the gains made at Fernando Rivera, and students, you all like made me want to be part of every one of the activities. That was so incredible to hear how important that it's been in your lives and clearly to the school community. So great job. Thanks again for the presentation.
I echo my fellow board trustee sentiment, so thank you so much also to the parents for being here and supporting your children and doing all of these extracurricular activities. I have two questions, but I will maybe ask one and go from there. So you mentioned about Summit Shasta. Can you go into details about what they're doing at the school? And then I guess I may have a question added on to that in terms of the collaboration with us.
Yeah, Summit Shasta is a high school. It's in Daly City, and their main focus is around personalization. And they do not exhibitions, but they do something, I can't remember what they call it, but it's something where kids go out and it's almost like an internship. And the student that's doing the tutoring program came to Fernando and was able to work in the office, get a feel for the school behind the scenes. And so she went back to her school and designed this whole program, reached out to me, said she wanted to bring it to Fernando, and that's how it sort of started. But I think that their mission at Shasta is really about empowering students to go out into the community and help support in ways that they can.
And so this is the second part question, but I guess this is towards Superintendent Mikulik. So obviously Summit, I believe, is a charter school. And I would love for our own sister district to maybe participate in maybe a way that they can. I am aware that because my daughter used to go to Oceana, that they do have requirements for community service hours. So I'm wondering how we can help promote supporting what's already happening, but within districts that we are, obviously our children are actually going into, and I feel like that may be something we should look into. Okay. I have another question, but I'll come back to it.
I don't have any questions, but I did want to say thanks to the parents and the students. I love seeing middle schoolers. I mean, I remember middle school is like a really true transition in, being from elementary school to high school, and it can be a rough time. So to see all the kids engaged and excited and coming up to speak about these skills that they're learning that I can tell you are going to be beneficial for all your years to come. It's just really heartwarming to see. So thank you for the presentation, and thanks for bringing these students up to share with us.
And then I'm just going to say thank you for the presentation. Again, we love hearing the highlights. Appreciate that you give us the information on the slides, but also enable, you give us the highlights, the things that we want to see. Hearing from our students is, I think, the most important thing. So thank you for going overtime to let them continue to speak. And then I will let you get your last question.
And the only other question I have, and I'm not sure who to direct it to, so whoever can answer the question, with regards to the Passion Project and putting color in the school. I love that idea, and I guess I would like to know more information on the approval process. I'm asking this question just to give context because obviously a lot of our schools have spaces for murals or color. Is it money? Is it we need to get grant funding? What does that look like? Because I think that I'm glad that it's happening at one school, but it seems like we should be doing this across the board with children in our district being the artists that are on the walls.
I'm not sure what the question is. Can you?
What is the process for approval to get that done? And I guess it seems like she said she submitted it to the maintenance department. Like, what is that? I guess I don't understand what the process is for getting a yes and having color on the walls.
So we allow the schools to make their own decisions about what's happening, for student-led activities like that that are enrichment. Any facility change, though, has to be approved by the district through the facilities modification form. So that might be the form she's referring to. And so we want to make sure that whatever we put on the walls is going to be sustained for a long time, that we can take care of it. A lot of times murals, once you put it up on a wall, then we can't refresh and paint it for years, until we do another mural on top of it. So we want to make sure that we can maintain whatever is going up on the walls. So that's really important. So that's why we do have an approval process. So any kind of change to the facilities, like a mural, they would need to fill out a form. And so each school site does that individually because we like to let the schools decide what they want to see. They're living in it every day.
And so outside of getting approval on, yes, we agree that you can put a mural or color on the wall, is the school then responsible for the cost of the paint and?
Yes.
Got it.
That can
Perfect.
come out of site funds because that is something they're choosing to do. It's not a standard mandated district-wide activity. So it's something that the school site wants to do, then that would either come out of their site funds or PTA. Sometimes they fundraise for it.
Maybe follow-up question, how much information is out there around that? And the reason why I'm asking is I understand it's site-by-site basis, but I think from a, I don't know what the word is right now, but from an aesthetic outside looking in, people driving past our community, it would be nice to have more color on our walls. And I understand the site by site, but I guess how much information is out there? Are people requesting it, or people don't have the money? Like, how are we seeing not only the information getting out that people are aware of what they can do, but also giving them maybe the resources if that is getting a grant from somewhere to do this, how are we making sure that they have what they need to put color on the walls?
Yes, and you're right, we need a lot more color in our schools. We were actually at a school recently to look at how we can do color blocking and making it more, because all of our houses in the area are very colorful and our schools are not. So we're trying to do something a little standard, but it takes money and it
Yes.
takes time. And so when we refresh and paint all of our schools, internal and external, we are going to do more colorful color blocking, things like that to make it more appealing. The murals are a different situation, but yes, we do want our schools to be more welcoming in the external view as well. So we're looking at doing some sort of cycle and thinking of painting, which we already do, but to look at how can we make it more appealing and attractive and welcoming. So
Perfect.
that's something we're already talking about.
Perfect, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, and we move to item 5B, Woodrow Wilson School Goals and High Action. Oh, that's right. We need to give these first. Thank you. All right, before you all go, Fernando Rivera, well, hopefully you'll stay for the next presentation, but we do want to give you all some certificates for all of you speaking. And I'll start on my right.
Okay, I have a certificate of appreciation for Malia Chow.
Yeah, go ahead, do all of yours.
I also have a certificate of appreciation for James Delancey.
I have a certificate for appreciation for participation in the flag ceremony and special presentation for Kaylee Liang. And then I have another certificate for Kate Yee.
I have a certificate of appreciation for Ashley and Chetta. And another one for Michael Sweemeneses. Sorry.
And then I have the final certificate of appreciation for Kieran Hiramine Lee. Did I say that right? All right, now we move on to item 5B, Woodrow Wilson Goals and Actions Highlight. Mr. Alex DeLanda, principal and representatives from Woodrow Wilson School will present highlights and goals and actions for the 2025-2026 school year.
Okay, I'll just, they're gonna need it anyway, so. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alex Delanda. I'm the school principal, proud principal of Woodrow Wilson Elementary. I consider it more like a community than a school. Like a lot of our schools, we're looking at the child in a holistic manner. So a lot of our the presentation and what we'll be talking about tonight is equity through the lens of educating a child in a multidimensional manner. And I have this slide. And so, to start, we'll talk about highlights of equity with our academic progress. And so, before we have Ms. Camacho, our wonderful fifth grade teacher, come up, we have had a lot of gains academically in the last few years, and one of the main highlights we've had is that we were able to increase our overall math CASP, that's our standardized test scores, by a little over 10%, which is a huge gain, something that we are very, very proud of. And Ms. Camacho will speak more about how we did that. But I'd also like to highlight that we also, on the CASP, again, the standardized assessments that we take every year, that the school, our fifth grade, again, scored in a 45%, which not to brag, but we're the highest in JESD, which is something, we're very proud of. And I'm proud of our teachers and our staff and our students. But yeah, so next up we have Ms. Camacho, fifth grade teacher.
Hi, everyone. So a few years ago, I thought about, how can I meet more of my kids' needs? How can I challenge them a little bit more? So a few years ago, I thought, you know what? I want to post small groups more often. Let's focus on just doing this at least once a week. So I came up with a Friday Math Stations. So Friday Math Station consists of a 3-station playlist with different math activities, Bridges Workplace, IXL games activities, math games on Clever. Within that 3-station playlist, there's a 20-minute small group support. So while students are working on their playlist, I work with one group for 20 minutes, and it's either we're working on extra support for math or extra challenge. And then the next station comes, I meet another group, and then another group. After the Friday Math Station, they also fill out a Google Form feedback where kids are able to reflect on what went well, what they still need help with. They also talk about how focused they were, and they also determine learning targets that they were able to accomplish. So that's actually something that I added on this year. Last year, I thought, you know what, it's doable. I could do this. I think I could do a little bit more. So I added a Tuesday, Thursday choice board day. A Tuesday, Thursday choice board day consists of a mini lesson for about 20 minutes, focusing on a specific skill. After that, I meet with 2 small groups for about 15 to 20 minutes, while the rest of the class are working on activities at their own level. So they might be working on mild activities, where it focuses a little bit more on extra support or extra practice. There's also some spicy activities where, they're like, you know what? I think I can challenge myself a little bit more. So then they work on more challenging problems. After that, they work on an exit slip. An exit slip is basically a very short quiz, whether it's IXL, a 2-question quiz, or some sort of Bridges, which is our curriculum, checkpoint. The goal for the Tuesday, Thursday choice board day and our Friday Math Station is to really group kids based on current data. So I'm constantly changing those groups. I'm constantly looking at, okay, how did they do today? Okay, Thursday comes. Okay, how did they do today? So the groups are not always the same. It's really based on how the kids are doing, how the kids are performing, and what their needs are. That's why the feedback forms are really helpful. But there are also times when I don't have a set group. Like last week, the kids were able to sign up. Do you need to meet with me? If you do, I have 3 slot times. I can meet with 6 kids here, 6 kids here, 6 kids here. So then they were able to sign up on which, if they do want that extra support. But again, the main goal is to meet kids where they are by providing extra support or challenges based on their needs. And this year, I'm lucky enough that I have a resident student teacher from USF, so I'm meeting with a group, and she's also meeting with a group. So overall, we're meeting with like 20-something kids in small group setting, so. Thank you.
Nice job. So yeah, I'd like to, before we have our next speaker up, I'd like to also highlight that what Ms. Camacho was just saying is the main goal of meeting students where they are by providing support or challenges. So for the students who might find some of the academics challenging, that they're receiving extra support, and for the students who are advanced, that they are receiving extra challenges. And so I can't think of a more equitable statement than what she had there as far as academics. Thank you, Ms. Camacho. So again, we are looking at also not just when we're educating the child, or the student, we're looking at mainly 3 different domains. So we just heard about the academic piece, and next we're going to hear a little bit about the enrichment side of things. So, one thing that I'm really proud about at Woodrow is that all students from TK through 5th participate in weekly general music classes. That's from our Music for Minors partners. We also have a gardening/nutrition class, and we're going to hear from Miss Gregory pretty soon, who leads that. We also have a wonderful visual art program that's funded through Prop 28 funds with a credentialed art teacher who is working with art in action curriculum that is aligned with grade level specific content for visual art. It's wonderful. I have a slide to showcase that as well. We also have the Youth Cinema Project, which works with Ms. Caius's 4th and 5th grade split grade class, and it's a wonderful project. It comes from LaLeaf, and we've had the opportunity to participate in this program for the last few years, and it's pretty wonderful. As many of you have been to the culminating project. Anyway. So again, here's a slide. This is our visual art class. Again, all our students from TK through 5th grade receive a weekly visual art class where they actually go to a specific room, receive art instruction from a credentialed art teacher with real visual art curriculum. I mean, it's pretty remarkable when you see some of the projects, and just a few of these pictures don't quite do it justice. When you go into the room and see kids engaging in real high-level art, it's really amazing. Okay, and next up we have our garden. We have Miss Gregory, and she'll speak a little bit about our gardening program.
Is it a potluck today, guys?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Well, hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Hien Gregory. Oh, can you hear me? Okay. So I am running a gardening program at Woodrow Wilson, and I really enjoy working with the children. And I'm a little nervous here. I don't do this stuff. So I work with all the kids at Woodrow Wilson. I have them come out, weekly with me, and my program is all about hands-on. So I teach them how to grow, plant from seeds, and how to collect seeds from the garden as well. And not just that, it's just so fun when they get to like you could see up there that they get to touch the soil, they get to learn, they get to see everything and grow, and they get to wash the vegetable that we got, and then we would turn it into a recipe, and then we would learn how to cook together right in our school garden. And so so today, so the goal is that I really want them to learn how to eat the greens, because most of our children at home, my own kids, they don't like green stuff, but they do eat for me at school. And I feel like I have this, I don't know, this thing that whatever I give the kids, even just plain, strong, bitter, not good, they still eat it from the garden.
So I say, why not just keep growing? So they get to taste everything that we grow, from raw to cook. So today I brought a couple dishes that I feed the kids at school for you guys to try. And kale, who would have thought, like, let's make kale pesto. We love basil pesto. We don't care about kale pesto. But I say, you know what? Let's do something different. So I make kale pesto, and I give them that with pasta, and I try to give them whole wheat stuff, because kids don't like whole wheat stuff, but they do eat that. So I say, I'm gonna try to get everything that they don't like at home to bring it to the school and see if they eat it. They do eat it. So today I made kale pesto with whole wheat pita bread, pizza, and I have right here for you guys to try, with arugula for topping if you wish. This is one of the dishes that I feed the children at school, so you're more than welcome to try this. You can pass around. I have hand sanitizer in my bag. Hand sanitizer. And then another dish is just the fava beans roasted. My time's up. Okay. Okay. So another dish I do with the kids is that the fava beans. They grow like crazy at our school, and I I did not know what is fava beans before, but growing with children, growing with them, I just love fava beans, and everybody get to taste fava bean raw. But then not just that, they have to do raw stuff first for me. That's the rule, and then we turn it into a recipe. So I do a roasted roasted fava beans for snack. So it's just oil, very healthy oil, paprika, salt, and pepper. And it's in the air fryer. And we do this in the garden every chance that we get, like, vegetable. So here you go. You guys could have a taste and pass it around and enjoy. Thank you for supporting our school gardening program.
And don't worry, we'll give you more time to finish. So if we would like more time for this presentation, I will need someone to motion for some more time, please.
So moved.
So we'll take 10 minutes.
Motion for 10 minutes.
So we have a motion. And then-
Motion approved.
Or second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion approved. All right, 10 minutes.
Apologies, it's the fault of the principal. Blame the principal. But as you can see, again, the passion that Miss Gregory brings to the garden program, it's wonderful to see the kids growing vegetables, healthy vegetables with their own hands. We are an urban school, and just watching the kids engage with growing kale and things they can eat that is just healthy and nutritious for themselves, and getting their hands dirty even is a social-emotional piece that kids will spend time during recess, lunch recess. Miss Gregory, even when she doesn't have a class, she's out there, and kids just voluntarily will go and help out. There's seats out there. You can see in the picture, there's kids out there. Sometimes there'll be kids out there just reading in the garden, and we're so fortunate to have this program. I do want to mention that it is funded by our Wildcats PTA. Our Wildcats PTA does do fundraising for this program to help maintain it at our school, and we're lucky to have that. Next, we have, again, the third piece revolving the holistic child is not just the academics, not just the enrichment, but the social emotional learning. And here to speak on that is our wonderful school counselor, Miss Megan Silva.
Hello, everyone. Like they mentioned, my name is Megan Silva. I'm the school counselor at Woodrow Wilson. I just wanted to talk a little bit about kind of our counseling program here at Woodrow and the heavy emphasis on the SEL component and how academic growth happens when emotional, social, and behavioral needs are met. SEL gives students the tools to focus, connect, and thrive, and turning classrooms into communities where both learning and belonging flourish. So we first start with the whole school. So we have our PBIS program, which is Positive Behavior Intervention Support Recognition. So how we do that is usually with, we have our pause assembly every Friday. So throughout the week, teachers, staff at the school will reward the kids with tickets that are called pause. And basically, the kids earn them off of having or following being respectful, responsible, and safe. And then also just, I use it also, I do a lunch bunch program. And so if the kids are there to sometimes help me clean up or anything like that, I also reward them for good behavior like that as well. And then the other thing we have is Peacemakers. So it's a group of 3rd to 5th graders who me and another teacher, we will coach them and train them. And it's based off of them being able to help other kids out on the yard with conflict resolution. So it's peer-to-peer conflict resolution. Then as in a whole class, we do a lot of, I go in once a month on lessons, mainly focusing on friendship and anti-bullying and community circles. So also with community circles, I have gone into all of the classrooms and taught the teachers also how to use community circles inside their classroom. So it's not just me leading it, but it's also the teachers inside their classroom. And they have used ways of using it maybe every week. And they also focus on kind of community circle questions that may relate to what they're dealing with inside the classroom. And then also, I wanted to talk about our student groups. I have small groups that focus on social skills. So if I have kids that are being identified for having issues with friendships, having issues with out on the yard possibly, or even having some, like I said, like inside the classroom as well, this is a opportunity for them to learn those social skills and also for me to have that time with them. And then the final component is individual check-ins. So if we are seeing that kids are needing that extra individual support, they will come and see me. We will focus on the tools that they need to be successful inside the classroom so they can maintain the SEL and the academic component. I just wanted to also show you guys an example of what the Peace Path looks like at Woodrow. We have 2 of them, and so basically, as you can see, the kid in the middle that has the yellow vest, that is the peacemaker. They will always have that when they're out in the yard, along with a lanyard that has a bunch of tools for them to be able to show and coach the children to get through the conflict. And then the kids will be standing basically in front of each other, and it shows them step by step with the yellow and with the blue and how they can go ahead and basically resolve the conflict. And we use a lot of like I need, I feel, stuff like that.
All right, so again, showing that the social emotional learning piece, it can be the gluing some of the academics and the behavioral growth and the creative progress as well. That through that we get student engagement, which contributes to some of this academic growth that we were seeing here. Let's see. Oh, and did you want to talk a little bit about the panorama? Yeah, come on. Okay.
This was from our most recent panorama, which was in the fall. Last school year, we did our first ever academic group. It was a focus group that we did, and we focused on self-management. We also focused on learning strategies and perseverance. And as you can see from last year's SEL survey, we went from 8% to 90% with the academic focus group that we did.
So again, huge gains. This is the panorama survey. Again, huge gains in this self-management piece for students that we're really proud of. Okay, and next we're going to hear from our students. So we have Alondra Barajas Coloca first. And so come on up, Alondra.
Hola, mi nombre es Alondra y estoy representando las clases divertidas de la escuela Woodrow Wilson. Primero empezamos con lo que me gusta de la clase de arte, Miss Liu. Lo que me gusta del arte es cómo aprendemos a dibujar, pintar, lucir pinturas y colorear. Además de que la maestra nos explica muy bien las cosas como cómo hacer unos dibujos que parecen difíciles, pero con sus técnicas no le ya que ella usa pasos sencillos y es muy detallista al hablar. Pasamos con lo de música, Mr. Nick. Me gusta mucho la música y además de que la clase en Mr. Nick lo hace demasiado divertida, graciosa y entretenida, porque empezamos a calentar, pero hasta eso es divertido, ya que él hace cosas para calentar que son muy necesarias, pero también divertidas. Además, me gusta mucho la música y él la hace más divertida. Pasamos con último, lo que me gusta de la clase de jardinería, Mr. Fernando y Miss Gregory. Me gusta mucho cómo nos explican también, hasta nos enseñan fotos de las plantas del tema. De lo que hablamos y también uno de mis favoritos es la comida, ya que es demasiado buena y es saludable para todos. Gracias por su atención y tiempo.
Okay, so I won't translate word for word, but Alondra was speaking about her experience in art, music, and garden classes and how wonderful her experience has been in each of those programs. Next, we have Abriel Sevilla. Come on up, Abriel.
Hello, my name is Abrielle, and I'm representing Woodrow Wilson classes. First up, garden. Garden is a good place to teach kids how to harvest vegetables and to try new foods. Next up, art. Art is a good place to express your feelings into a drawing project. And it's a good place to learn the fundamentals of colors and types of art. Last, music. Music is a place to learn how to play instruments, specifically recorders, and to learn requirements of notes for songs. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, and next we have Liliana Peterson.
Hi, my name is Liliana Serena Peterson. I am in 5th grade and go to Woodrow Wilson Elementary School. My favorite thing we do in art is learning about other artists. We also get to be creative and express our emotions. In music, it's all of the instruments, specifically the recorders. I also love how Mr. Nick makes it fun. Last, my favorite one, garden. I love all of the buds, specifically the snails, but what I love most about garden is the food. So I want to give a thank you to Miss Lou, Mr. Nick, Mr. Fernando, and Miss Gregory. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so that concludes our presentation. Apologies for going over. The final slide is just some upcoming events, some community events. We have our Harvest Festival actually this Friday from 4 to 6. Everyone is welcome. We're going to have food trucks, games, prizes, trunk or treat, lots of fun stuff. Everyone is welcome to come. We have a fun run coming up, movie night, family dance, community fair. These are just a few things that are PTA-supported community events. Anyway, thank you, everybody, and thank you to all of our Woodrow. Let's have a round of applause for our Woodrow crew here. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Woodrow Wilson. So, and now we will move on to comments and questions from the board. And if it's all right, this time I'll start on my left.
I think it's time that you could start on your left nowadays. So I just want to quickly commend again everybody for presenting, especially our student presenters. Love hearing student voices, literally my favorite part in my new role here. But Ms. Camacho, I love that you're giving the kids choices to feel comfy, and the phrase that you use of meet them where they're at, whether they need a little bit of extra help or they need to be challenged. Sometimes I think people forget the ones that need to be challenged more, and they kind of feel like they're just kind of sitting and waiting along. So I really love that you are having wherever they are on whichever end of the pendulum that they're all supported. Ms. Gregory, thank you for feeding us some food. It was delicious. Maybe I'll come and you could teach me how to have a green thumb because I pretty much kill everything. But I really love to hear that the students echoed that they are eating the food that you're growing, and I think there is some sort of feeling of pride in being able to eat what you have seen grown instead of what is just purchased at the store. So I love seeing all of the enthusiasm for that too. And then Ms. Silva, same, the support for all the levels, whether it's school-wide all the way down to the individual children. And that peace path, I really love that you're teaching them how to resolve conflict without just simply saying, say sorry and move on, without them having to understand why or what feelings they're having to cause the conflict and within the resolution. So I really love all of that as well. And congratulations for the 90%. That's a great jump.
I want to give a shout out to the PTA, because the PTA it seems like you guys are crushing it with all these events that are coming up being funded by it, and it's specifically the garden program. I think it's so amazing that that entire program is being funded by the PTA, and obviously shout out to the parents who are probably getting the things to sell or go to the the Panda Express or the Chipotle and spend their hard-earned money to be able to support all of the events that are happening at the school. I actually want to give a shout out to Ms. Gregory. I've known her for a while, and it's really awesome that she's a community member that has actually brought the love of the garden to multiple schools in our district, not just Woodrow Wilson. So I'm happy to see that she has a home at Woodrow and is continuing to spread the love for at least a decade or more, not to put out age or anything. And then I'm really grateful for the students. You spoke so eloquently, and parents for supporting your students here today. And I love the fact that we had a Spanish speaker. We don't always have that, and I think it's so great. So Alondra, you did a great job. And I heard Mr. Nick's name twice tonight, so I want to give a shout out to Mr. Nick, because the kids really love you, and obviously all of the teachers that are supporting the students with all of the activities that they're doing. Keep up the good work. Woodrow Wilson seems like they're doing really great, and it's on the up and up.
Wow, what an incredible presentation. And want to start with the student speakers. You just spoke so well and captured the enthusiasm and how valuable these programs have been. So thank you. Thank you, Ms. Silva. Great presentation. Thank you, Ms. Gregory, for feeding us the fava beans and kale pesto. Really were incredible. Got to get the recipe. And thank you, Ms. Camacho. Thank you, Principal DeLonda. You should be very proud of the results. As a Woodrow Wilson alumni family, I'm proud to see them too. And that is quite an achievement. And I guess my question is to our district of if you can talk about how some of these strategies are captured. I think Ms. Camacho spoke to a real method of teaching math that has been extremely successful, and combining small groups. I know it is part and parcel of the UDL framework and philosophy, and that every school is different, and we can't exactly replicate, school for school. But what are some of the ways that we can get some of these strategies out to all schools and encourage all of our schools to find what works?
Yes, so it's actually, Ms. Scott is, you don't have to answer, but if you want to, I'm giving her credit. It's because we're doing district-wide collaboration. And so they're sharing these strategies and sharing what's working and what's not, and looking at their assessment and data and just looking at the products that students are producing, student work, to see how is it working, what's working for you. Hey, you had higher scores. Woodrow had higher scores. I'm at another school. How did you do that? What did you do? And so having those conversations. So they're having, I think there's 4 meetings this year with the grade levels to partner and talk across the district. So they're sharing these strategies in that way. And so, yes, there is collaboration. There is a means for them to share what's working. And they get to see, this was shared at their site-directed time, the early release Wednesdays, seeing how the whole district is doing and what sites have some pockets of success, and then to say, hey, we encourage you to reach out to your colleagues and see what's working for them so that we can share. Because that's actually teacher collective efficacy is the #1 way that we can improve. I mean, that's research shows that that's the best way to improve student performance.
Thank you for the reminder to the board and to the overall community. And thanks again for the excellent presentation, and congratulations on all the successful results and programs.
All right, I'm pretty sure they said everything. I don't really have any more to add. So I just want to thank everybody in the audience for showing up and staying for all these presentations. These are our favorite part of our meeting. Getting to hear from our community is like, that's why we're here. So I'll close it with that. So thank you so much, Woodrow Wilson. Thank you, Fernando Rivera. We're going to continue with the rest of our meeting. We do need to get, yes, thank you for reminding me for certificates, everybody. We'll start with my left.
All right, I have a certificate of appreciation for Aubrielle Sabella.
And a certificate for appreciation for Alondra Barajas Cayuca.
And certificate of appreciation for Liliana Peterson.
All right, thank you everybody for showing up. And then, of course, if you are not here for the rest of the meeting, this is the time when you may exit if you like, or you may stay for the rest of our really exciting meeting. All right, we move on to item 6A, board member acknowledgements and commendations. And this time I'll start on my right. And I'm going to alternate from now on. So. Sorry. Thank you.
All right. Well, I would like to commend and thank Susan B. Anthony School and FDR, as well as perhaps other schools in the district that are holding reading events this month. I was very pleased to be able to take part in the reading rally at Susan B. Anthony on October 17th. Thank you, Principal Roxanne Hannon and Ernest Felix, for welcoming into their class. It was a pleasure to read to the students there, and I look forward to visiting FDR on Friday to read to their class. And I and other board members have spoken about the tremendous importance of fostering reading in school and outside of school. So I'm really glad to see these events taking place, and thanks to the schools that are hosting them.
No comments at this time.
And same, like Trustee Rashba, I read at FDR today to the TK class. So thank you, Principal Duffy, for inviting us to do that. It was adorable. I loved it so much. So thank you for allowing me to come and read to a very cute and excited TK class.
And then I have no comments at this time, so we'll move on to superintendent comments. Superintendent McCulloch.
Yes, I want to thank Fernando Rivera and Woodrow Wilson for their excellent presentations. All I can say is I just feel pride of being a superintendent in this district with the work that everyone is doing. So I'm very proud of what we saw tonight and what we continue to see. I do have a couple announcements. As I mentioned to the board in my communications and now to others, yesterday I attended an urgent press conference held at the San Mateo County Board Chambers called by our Human Services Agency, HSA, to bring attention to the following critical issues. First, the HR 1 policy changes that will likely cause thousands of county residents to lose their CalFresh benefits. Also, the impact of the federal government shutdown. That means recipients of the CalFresh won't receive their CalFresh or CalWorks benefits starting November 1st. And also the need for all of us to come together to support the most vulnerable members of our community, particularly supporting local organizations like Second Harvest Food Bank. So if you are willing and able to help, I encourage everyone to support the Second Harvest Food Bank by donation or volunteering your time, as they are in critical need of donations and support right now. So it's a call to action to support our community that's in need. And in our district, I mean, they're talking about 35,000 people in the county that are going to be without benefits. We have about 1,700 families or students that receive CalFresh, and so that means starting November 1st, their family will not receive those benefits. So we really want to make sure that we support everyone, and food insecurity is, a basic need. And so we want to make sure that we do what we can to support. So I wanted to make sure that the community is aware of what's happening. And then also on another note, we did receive communication from the County Office of Education from Kevin Boltema, who is the Deputy Superintendent of the Business Services Division. And so they just acknowledged that they have reviewed our 2024-2025 unaudited actuals financial reports, and they have transmitted the reports to the California Department of Education, so they'll keep us posted. But that was a formal communication that I wanted to share with you all. And that's it for me for now.
Excellent. Thank you, Superintendent McCulloch. And then, Ms. Covere, are there any persons wishing to address the board? Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, so then we will close that at, I think it's like 8 o'clock. All right, we move to item 7, consent agenda. The administration recommends approval of the following consent items. If there are any items that need to be removed, otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, this is a resolution, because since there's a resolution, it is a roll call vote. Ms. Covere, please.
Mr. Rashba?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Ms. Policarpio?
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka?
Aye. That's unanimous. Consent agenda passes. All right, and we move on to item 8A, resolution number 251022A. Resolution in support of Protecting Students with Disabilities Act. The board will consider adopting resolution number 251022A, resolution in support of Protecting Students with Disabilities Act. Ms. Superintendent McCulloch, I'll pass it to you.
Yes. So there's a lot going on right now in the federal government, especially related to education. And thanks in part to your advocacy in the resolution in June, where we are asking for full funding of special education, there are some bills now that are putting forward a funding path to reach that promised 40% funding support of IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. And the people that we reached out to are behind those bills. So I think that shows that what we're doing is working, and we have some more work to do. So unfortunately, over a week ago, the federal government shut down and then also started a reduction in force in the U.S. Department of Education Special Ed Office of Special Education, which impacts our students with disabilities. So this resolution is really an advocating and calling for action. So I'm just gonna share with you what we're calling to action. That the Jefferson Elementary School District Board of Trustees calls on members of the United States Congress to oppose reductions to funding that negatively impact educational services for students with disabilities. It also calls to oppose the termination, reassignment, or alteration of the responsibilities of the Office of Special Education of the Department of Education. And it calls to ensure that services and funding for students with disabilities are uninterrupted, including the allocation, monitoring, and management of IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, formula funding, and discretionary grant-funded programs. So that's what's in this resolution that I'm recommending for approval, and I will do the same thing. If this is approved, I will send it to all of our legislators and showing support for that, because I do believe when a board supports something, it puts weight behind it, and we saw in this last resolution that it did have an impact. So I encourage you to approve this resolution, and I'll answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Superintendent McCulloch. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
And I have a second. So this is a roll call vote. Ms. Covere, please.
Mr. Rashba?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Ms. Policarpio?
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka?
Aye. That is unanimous. Congratulations, Ms. Superintendent McCulloch. Hopefully our legislators will hear what we are behind. All right, item 9A, California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, CASP, results update information. Ms. Pam Scott, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, will share results of the 2024-2025 California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress for grades 3 through 8.
Do you want it? I like that. And wear my heels next time. You good? A little humor. All right, so good evening. Tonight, Dina and I are excited to share with you our California State Assessment results from last school year. We'll highlight growth, areas for improvement, and how the results connect to our instructional work in the classrooms.
Before we review the data, we want to start with the priorities guiding our work this year. Our focus on Universal Design for Learning, UDL, and Social Emotional Learning, or SEL, is helping us build classrooms where students take ownership of their learning. Teachers are designing lessons that include clear goals, flexible paths, and multiple ways for students to show understanding.
And we've continued to provide dedicated team collaboration time through collab days and institute days. This is where teachers meet to align the work of what to teach, when to teach it, and how long to teach it. So this ensures consistency across classrooms and helps us reach mastery of priority standards.
Steps taken to support our English learners and students with diverse needs include establishing dedicated daily ELD time and provide targeted instruction aligned to students' proficiency levels, integrating the Elevation platform to help teachers monitor progress and apply evidence-based practices, and implementing both Imagine Learning in grades K-5 and iReady personalized learning in grades 3 through 8 to address individual academic and language development needs. Teachers also continue to embed scaffolds, visuals, and structured academic discourse within core instruction to ensure that all students have equitable access to grade-level content.
So we want to ground tonight's presentation in our district's long-term vision. Our LCAP goals guide all of our continuous improvement efforts, and tonight's focus is on Goal 2, which centers on student achievement and growth. The goal drives the instructional work you'll see reflected in our state assessment results. So as Goal 2 states, by June 2027, our target is for 70% of our students to meet or exceed standards in English Language Arts, ELA, and math. So as we move toward that vision, our 2025-26 target is 60% proficiency. So here's something worth celebrating. In English Language Arts, 13% of our classrooms have already exceeded 60% proficiency. 27% are in the 50 to 59% range, and 31% are in the 40 to 49% range. With 71% of our classrooms already on track towards 60%, the data shows that our district is well positioned to reach this goal through continued focus and collaboration. And that progress isn't isolated to English Language Arts. We're seeing similar upward trends in math as well. The same instructional coherence and data-driven practices that have supported literacy growth are now strengthening our work in numeracy and problem solving.
This chart shows district-wide results over the past 4 years. ELA has gone from 44% to 46%, math from 33% to 38%, and science 23% to 28%. All three subjects improved this year, the first time since the pandemic. The science increase reflects the hands-on and inquiry-based approach built into Twig Science, which encourages students to think, question, and problem solve.
In English Language Arts, grades 5 and 8 show the strongest growth, both as grade levels and as cohorts. While many factors influence student outcomes, two key shifts from last year stand out. At the middle school level, adjusting the master schedule so core teachers teach both 7th and 8th grade classes strengthened instructional capacity and continues to provide supports for scaffolds, leading to higher 8th grade achievement. And in 5th grade, the co-teaching support provided through our MTSS specialist also contributed to the gains we're seeing.
Math showed the largest improvement overall, with the greatest gains in grades 5, 7, and 8. This success reflects the strength of our MTSS co-teaching model, successful integration of personalized instruction, and the strategic use of data-informed practices. Site leadership teams also drove our ELA and math gains by implementing core practices. They conducted instructional walkthroughs, used data analysis to pinpoint trends and set goals, and intentionally fostered a positive school climate and culture to support the success of every staff member and student.
So this chart displays ELA, English Language Arts, and math growth by school from the 2023-2024 to 2024-2025 school years. Each pair of bars represents one school, blue for ELA and green for math. The height of each bar shows the percentage point change in the number of students meeting or exceeding standards. Bars that rise above the 0 line indicate growth, while bars that fall below represent a decline compared to last year. This format allows us to view both subjects side by side, making it easy to identify where schools experience gains in one or both areas and where additional support or reteaching cycles may be needed. Overall, the chart highlights schools demonstrating significant upward movement in math and several showing consistent improvement in ELA, while also drawing attention to sites where growth has slowed or declined.
While a few sites experienced dips, the data also revealed steady improvement across multiple campuses. These trends highlight district-wide progress in instructional coherence, data use, and the collaboration that continues to strengthen student outcomes. In ELA, 9 out of 14 schools increased overall proficiency by 3 to 11 percentage points from 2023-24 to 2024-25. Growth occurred across both elementary and middle grades, reflecting broader instructional impact, and several schools showing a multi-year gains continued to build on consistent Tier 1 practices. In math, 10 out of 14 schools improved by 5 to 18 percentage points, with gains evident across the district. Progress spanned across school configurations, showing stronger alignment in math instruction, and the number of schools meeting or exceeding 40% proficiency increased from 6 to 9 schools.
While many sites showed strong gains, the data also reveal areas where growth has slowed or declined. These patterns point to system-wide opportunities for reteaching, pacing calibration, and cross-grade level alignment, not individual sites' shortfalls. In English Language Arts, 5 of 14 schools experienced declines in overall performance from the 23-24 school year to 24-25. 3 of 14 schools that had steady growth previously showed modest decreases this year. And middle grade ELA performance dipped slightly across several campuses. In math, 4 of 14 schools showed small decreases in overall proficiency compared to last year. 3 of 14 schools that had large prior gains held steady or slipped slightly, and middle school math performance remains below the district average. In response to areas of focus, each school team has reviewed their site-level data to identify the specific standards and grade spans that need reteaching and reinforcement. Principals have been and will be sharing their response actions during their upcoming board presentations, highlighting how instruction is being adjusted to address those areas. District and site leadership will then monitor progress through our mid-year reviews to ensure continued alignment, targeted support, and measurable improvement.
We also wanted to highlight our top performing schools' growth, as far as growth. So Westlake grew 14 points, Thomas Edison 11, TRP 6, and Garden Village 5. If we're looking at math, we have our top schools. Thomas Edison grew an impressive 18 points, Garden Village 16, Woodrow 10, TRP 9, and Westlake 5. We're seeing significant improvement across most major subgroups, driven by strong gains in both ELA and math. For our socially economic disadvantaged, or SED, students and students with disability, or SWD. While we're committed to seeing the same success of our English learners, our EL on the chart, whose language proficiency, whose ELA proficiency dropped slightly despite gains in math, our continued focus on universal design for learning will guide our strategy to ensure access for all students.
So this graph illustrates the connection between average student attendance and overall achievement. The x-axis represents the average attendance rate for students, while the y-axis shows the percentage of students meeting or exceeding standards on statewide assessments. Each point represents a different attendance band. The upward sloping line shows a clear trend. As attendance increases, the percentage of students meeting or exceeding standards also rises. At around 70% attendance, only 23% of students meet or exceed standards. As attendance rises to 90-95%, achievement increases to 45 to 48%. This data just reinforces a strong correlation. Students who attend more consistently perform at higher levels. It underscores the importance of daily attendance, proactive outreach, and early intervention to maintain learning continuity and academic progress.
These charts highlight cohort growth, showing how the same group of students performed as they advanced from one grade to the next. Each bar represents the percentage of students meeting or exceeding standards in 2023-2024, so that is the lighter bar, and compared to 24-25, which is the darker bar. For example, the bar labeled MHT 3 to 4 represents the students who were in third grade in 23-24 and then in fourth grade in 24-25, allowing us to see how much that cohort's proficiency changed over the past year. In both subjects, we see encouraging signs of growth, demonstrating the impact of consistent instruction and collaboration across grade levels. In ELA, we saw impressive growth with 4 cohorts achieving gains of 18 to 21 percentage points. This includes standout growth for JFK in 3rd to 4th, which was plus 21, and FDR has 2 cohorts, 4th to 5th, which was plus 16.5, and 7th to 8th, which was a plus 21. In math, we saw strong progress across multiple sites as well, with cohorts gaining up to 15 percentage points. Notable examples include Woodrow Wilson, 3rd to 4th grade grew 15, and Garden Village, 4th to 5th, grew 13. These significant cohort gains provide clear insight into how well learning is being sustained as students advanced, which is a key indicator of district-wide success.
So here is how we are building on this progress. We've hosted UDL parent information events to help families connect with classroom practices and understand learning through a UDL lens. Each week, district and site leaders conduct learning walks to observe instruction and identify next steps for support. Our revised early release Wednesday schedule has created dedicated time for reflection and growth on the new California standards for the teaching profession. We've also embedded an iReady specialist at the middle school level to coach teachers and strengthen data use on iReady. In addition, we're offering monthly professional learning sessions focused on engagement, academic discourse, and feedback. So looking ahead, we'll continue implementing our instructional roadmap, emphasizing student-centered lesson design, math lesson study cycles, and direct connections between professional learning and classroom practice.
We're seeing clear, measurable progress by staying consistent with evidence-based practices and continuous improvement. Growth is taking hold across the district. Thank you to our teachers, staff and principals, and district leaders for their dedication, and to our board for supporting the work that makes this progress possible.
Excellent, thank you. All right, and now I will open up for comments and questions from the board, and we will start on my left.
No questions, but super encouraging to see all of those peaks and to see year by year, especially with the cohorts, to see that, the kids that were testing the following year are improving there. So love seeing all those data points, because you can't refute data, which is one of my favorite things about looking at the numbers to show that things are working. So that's amazing to see. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. I feel like this is year 5 for me on the board, and I think I had asked a long time ago to see trend reports, and that's what you just provided, a trend report to see how we were and versus how we are. And I think even better is this cohort situation where it's like these are the specific kids that were this is how they were doing, this is how they're still doing. It's really phenomenal. I look forward to what 25, 26 looks like. I also want to actually, because it's really interesting to see Garden Village on here, because I have a personal connection to that school, and my daughter went from 4th to 5th, so to see that line in here, it's like very personal for me. But it's even more personal because yesterday she comes home and she's like, I just got 19 out of 20 in my whatever IXL, whatever she was doing, and she's like, I think I'm getting fractions now. And I was like, wow, I'm so excited that you feel like you're getting fractions now. So I want to give a shout out to Mr. Aleman. He's doing a really phenomenal job. I think at the end of the day, someone said earlier, you meet the kids where they are, and I think that special connection, it really allows them to understand that they're in a safe space and we care about them. And then us looking at this data and using that data to make quick decisions on how to interject and pivot, I think is just so important. So I just, every teacher out there that may be discouraged, looking at these numbers, that we are doing everything that we can to get to where we need to go, and you should be proud of the hard work that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you for an outstanding presentation and these exceptional results. I feel really proud of them. We all should, and you especially should. And I think what was really impressive to me about the presentation is your use of data. I think, as Trustee Jordan was saying, has risen to a new level, and it's just great to see the breakdown within schools and grade levels, and that we are just overall moving in an upward direction. I'm really encouraged to see the broad spread of gains, and when looking at English language learners, socioeconomic disadvantage and students with disabilities, that we are seeing gains there, and focusing on that, and that link between attendance and achievement is really striking. So strong standouts there. I guess the question I had is just on the cohorts on the slide. Were these cohorts selected because they had the greatest improvement? I may have missed that.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
They're the top.
I see. Thank you. Yeah, nothing further. Yeah.
I think just to add something to the cohort and the growth is that the way CASP is scaled, right? I could score a 700 this year and a 700 next year, and my proficiency level changes, right? So I could be a 3 one year and get the same score, and now I'm a 2. So they really have to grow as they're going through. So I think that just makes this data even more powerful, right? They are, it's a year growth and more.
I was just going to say a couple of things. Well, first of all, I think the lack of questions just shows how impressed I think we are, because usually I think we hound you with questions. You're usually our go-to for bullying with questions, but this time we only gave you one. But again, you'll always answer them really well, but I think also you're showing the right data. Like the cohort data, I think is what all 4 of us said. Like we really like that data, and especially being a math person myself, like that's really what shows the trend, and the fact that you're putting it in here now, again, it's showing in how we're reacting to the data. Another thing is just like the amount of positive data is going up, like the amount of positive points. We usually have some highlights, but there were highlights all over the place, and every school had at least one, making sure like they were positive in some way. So that's really good to see. And then, that's really all I had to say. I'm really impressed with our data. I know our school's goals are to get to 50 or 60%, and hopefully we're going to get there. But I mean, the fact that we're seeing progress shows that what you all are doing, what the teachers are doing, what the principals are doing to reinforce what you all are teaching is working. And hopefully our students can see that as well. Yeah, go for it.
You just said progress. I think the one thing that I want to maybe reiterate is it's progress over perfection. I think everybody's like, we just need to get to 50%. And it's like, well, if we don't get to 50%, but we're progressing, that is also a win. So progress over perfection, and phenomenal job.
100%. All right, thank you so much. All right, we move on to item 10A, Certificated Retirement 2025-2026. The administration recommends approval of the retirement request from Lisa Davis, ELD teacher at TRP, effective January 22nd, 2026, and requests an appropriate resolution be prepared, commending her for her years of service with the district. Ms. Davis has been employed with the district since August 23rd of 2010. Are there any comments or questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion. All right, I motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, congratulations, Ms. Davis, and have a good time in retirement. All right, and now we're on to item 11, Governance Team Member Comments, Questions, Reports, Future Agenda Items, and Board Meeting Reflection. And I think I'll start on my left this time. Did I start on my left last time? Okay, no, I'll start on my right. Thank you. This is why we have a board. You all keep me on track of not forgetting which way I start. Thank you.
That was a really inspiring evening. Aside from the realities that we're hearing from the federal government and how that affects our students in our county. But I'm so buoyed to hear the presentations from Fernando Rivera, from Woodrow Wilson. Just great to see the success that is occurring, not just in academic, but as Principal Delanda said, academic, the activities, the enrichments going on, and social emotional learning, and the positive gains that we're seeing are really inspiring, and were exceptionally well highlighted by these 2 schools. And then the presentation from Ms. Scott and Ms. Conti, the gains that we're seeing across the district is really inspiring. So thanks for a great meeting.
I echo my fellow board trustee sentiments. I'm also pretty grateful that I was able to eat dinner while here tonight. I actually wanted to bring up maybe future agenda items, or maybe something to take back for a later time. Do not have to respond to it now. I was at the Top of the Hill Festival. It was so hot that day. I melted a little bit. So I hope everyone went out and enjoyed. I did notice that we did not have a presence at that, but our counterparts, our sister district, Jefferson High School District, was there. And I actually realized, and never brought this up before, but I actually see Jefferson High School District often when I go to community outdoor fairs. I think the one that they do in Pacifica is because obviously they have a school there, so that makes sense, right? But for us, Daly City is our stomping grounds, and it was saddening to not see us have a presence there. I do understand the reasons why. I got insight into why we may not have been there, but I guess I would encourage us, because we talked previously about PR, and I know we're doing a lot of that, I guess, from a virtual standpoint, social media, videos that we're sending out, newsletters and that sort of thing, but a presence in the community where we see community members beyond the people that are coming to our campus, beyond people that we can touch on social media. I just think that it would be important and imperative for us, especially as we're talking about getting more people to come to our district, that we should have a presence in a Daly City festival. So that's one thing. I don't know if, again, we can talk about it at a later time, or we bring it up future agenda as a board to talk through it. And then the other item was our website. I would love to maybe put it on the agenda to talk about our website. Again, going back to PR, user interface, how people can get to us and easily navigate. Similar to what I was saying before about color, and the word is curb appeal. How do we get our website to, I guess, be in the 21st century, or is it still the 21st century? I don't know what century we're in now. But so that it reflects what is happening today in our world, and I feel like it is maybe a little behind, and it may not be garnering the attention that we want to get people to be interested in coming to our district. So I would like to ask that be on the agenda at some point to discuss.
I think this might be my third or fourth meeting now. So third, okay. See, I'm giving myself too much credit by saying four. That's fourth was when I was interviewed, so it's still my fourth somehow. But I love these presentations. Like I can't, like they make me cry somehow. And my kids are, as you guys know, in TK and kindergarten, so I'm so excited for them to actually be in this district, and I'm super proud, and I'm doubling down on, my friends whose kids go to private schools, and I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I really believe in this district. So thank you to the principals, the teachers, the counselors, the staffs. Like, you have a fan in me, and I will fangirl for you guys forever. But then the one question I did have was, I saw that high schools are having orientations, and I hear about high schools having orientations about where these kids are going to school. And is that because they have the option or the choice and they're not district? So we wouldn't, because we obviously go by district, and these kids go to these schools based on location, right?
They have choice, so they can go to any school in the district, whereas you go to your neighborhood school in our district.
Okay.
But we do have orientations before school starts in our middle school, and then we also do other outreach between the schools, and then there's open house as well. So families know where they're going next.
Okay, and I was wondering maybe if that's something to talk about, because as we're looking for more enrollment, especially with TK and kinder, maybe it's something that, going back to PR, we can just socialize about more, so that parents who have kids that are in this district or just haven't been to school and want to just get an idea, because they have the choice to either keep their child in preschool versus sending them to TK, which I hear a lot. But maybe that's an opportunity for the schools to be able to meet with prospective parents, and not just current parents or parents who are already going to go meet their next school teacher, as an idea for increasing attendance for the younger ones. And then they get there and they'd be like me. They love it so much they never leave. That's all.
I have written here, reflect on what Trustee Rashba said, but I forgot what Trustee Rashba said. So I really appreciate whatever you said, because I think it was the exact thought that I was going to say, but I forgot what it was. So I'll move on to my next one, which, again, I really appreciate that you interjected, Vice President Jordan, about progress over perfection. That's exactly why we said it there, and I'm glad you had the phrase for it, because, again, like, that's what we're focused on here. Like, we're never going to get to perfection. That's not 100%, I don't think, does exist anywhere in the state or any school. But, the fact that we're seeing progress, and also as soon as we reach a goal, we're going to set it higher. So there will never be a perfection. And that's kind of what we love to hear as our district, is that we just just like what Woodrow Wilson was saying, where they were saying, oh, well, you all are in this really high bracket. We're going to even challenge you further. And that's exactly what this district represents is no matter where we are, we're going to keep pushing you further because we know that there's always a higher place for you all to go. And so I guess I will close. Well, we have one more. Yeah.
I just wanted to interject that, first of all, I forget what I said too in my closing remarks. But I actually want to just support Trustee Jordan and Trustee Policarpio's raising of those particular items for future discussion around marketing. And I don't think that we have a standard way of doing like an enrollment sort of open house for prospective families, and just doing tours is very much done, it seems to me, on an ad hoc basis, within schools. So it would be nice to promote that as a way of encouraging enrollment and just getting out all of the good facts about and achievements of our district.
And I forgot one other thing. So I don't think we're going to have a board meeting before Halloween. So I actually wanted to wish everyone a nice spooky season. For those of you that celebrate, I celebrate. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's costume. I will be dressed up. I do it every year. And so I'm excited to see all the kids dressed up, getting candy. And it's so cool this year. It's on a Friday. So there's no school the next day, which means you can't talk about attendance, because if you hang out, late on a Friday night, you don't have to get up and go to school in the morning. So it's a good time, and I hope everyone stays safe and has a good time for Halloween.
And the next 2 years is on a Saturday and a Sunday, so we got good Halloweens coming up. All right, so I'll move on to item 12. Persons wishing to address the board on closed session items. All right, this portion of the agenda is available for individuals to comment on or address the board on an item addressed in closed session. The maximum time is usually 2 minutes. All right, we are going to go to a 5-minute recess at 8:35. Please be in the closed session boardroom at 8:40.